I'm now going to start attaching the bias tape to the inside seam of my waistcoat, and I'm going to start this off by laying it down and lining it up with the edge exactly as I've done before, leaving that 5 centimeter gap here for when I finish. And I'm going to continue this all the way up, and as soon as I get to a corner, I'm going to start sewing this line and implement the corner technique that we just learned in the previous video. And then I'll continue sewing this all the way around the edge, stop once again, do the corner, and then pin my next section and continue down. So I've got one long piece of bias tape all the way around the edge.
Once I got to the corner, I measured 5 millimeters from the edge of the fabric and made a small mark on the bias tape.
I'm now going to sew down this line and stop when I get to the corner and fold the corner so it's nice and sharp. I'll then repin the next section and stop every time I get to a corner.
Having sewn that part and got to the corner, I'm going to fold up the bias tape by 45 degrees so it's in line with one of the edges, and then do the same thing downwards and pin that in place. And then I'll continue pinning all the way down this edge of the garment until I reach the next corner. I'll make a mark with my ruler at 0.5 centimeters from the edge and then stick it back in the sewing machine ready to sew the next side. Once you've been all the way around the edge of the waistcoat, we're going to finish off the bias binding in the same way that we did with the armhole. So there should be a 5 centimeter crossover between your two ends. Lay them out flat and fold them both down so that they reach in the middle. Make 2 marks with your pen on the point that you folded them over, and then we're going to sew the bias binding together just like we did in the armhole. And once those two are sewn together, you want to attach the final bit of bias binding, so you're joining up the two ends of your previous stitching. So just running over that new seam that we've made to attach it to the waistcoat.
This is the stage we're at with the waistcoat. So I've sewn all of the bias binding on, but this main piece I haven't yet done my top stitching on.